We should be careful with what we wish for, because the founders, when they created our republic, they were right to worry about the tyranny of the majority that democracies can impose. And so pure democracy can be tyrannical. And so that's why our system is truly as perfect as it can be, even if we're imperfect in the way we describe it. But it's a Republican democracy.
This would be just so much better if you were on the actual show.
Yeah, we could see you and talk to you. Hey, so
I have a face for radio.
So you got any trials or what, man? You've been kicking butt?
Oh, we're busy. We're getting way more dismissals than we're getting trials.
I agree. So
I appreciate.
So let's talk about that at the courthouse. What's happening now is the backlog. I think almost every misdemeanor court except for one, their dockets have now reached well over 1,000 cases per court, except for one court, and I believe that might be court one, and it may be one or two, but apparently the caseload has exploded. And so what's happening now is all these cases that shouldn't be getting set for trial, they're literally getting set because the prosecutors or defense attorneys, they're out of rope, and it's like, look, we don't have an agreement, and we're out of resets, so I guess we got to set it for trial. And you go to the bench.
I've been experiencing that. Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
it's not the prosecutor doesn't want to set it for trial. My client is lukewarm about it. I always want to go to trial.
Well, they're not ready.
And the judge is telling us it's trial date or plea, and we don't have a plea bargain. Or they finally get around to offering okay. And I've had conversations with chief prosecutors about this. I've said, look, we may end up getting a trial date just so that my client can have enough time to complete the community service and the class that you guys are offering to dismiss the case. And then the prosecutor and I, we're both worried that when we get around to approaching to get the case dismissed, that the judge is going to go, wait, no, this one's set for trial. I'm not going to dismiss a case that's set for trial.
That's on a trial docket, yeah.
And then we're like, well, we didn't really want the trial date. You made us set it for trial. So I agree, it's a mess. And it goes back to what I feel like I said when I was on the show one of the last times. I was talking to another attorney about this before. There was a big, major shift in the DA's office among their personnel this week. I think the shift that will change the docket problems in the misdemeanor courts is that we need to have felony chiefs come down for a month or 2 months and be the chiefs in the misdemeanor court.
And train everyone?
No, I don't know about it. They'll get trained in the process. I had a felony chief who hadn't been in misdemeanor court in 13 years. She told me she didn't even know that they were still offering pretrial intervention for DWIs in misdemeanor court.
Well, what's happening down there is there's like the judge will say, all right, we'll set it for trial, and I'm looking at the district attorney thinking, you haven't even watched the video, man. Like, you haven't even watched the video.
Yeah.
You haven't even talked to And what lawyer is going to advise their client, hey, look, they don't have the video, they don't have the photos, they don't have the medical records, it's trial day. What lawyer is going to say, you know what, I think you should plead guilty. They don't have any of these key pieces of evidence, so you should just kind of plead guilty. No, you're going to advise the client, they don't have anything, set the thing for trial. I mean, they haven't even gathered what they need to.
But see, the problem is that they are understaffed right now.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So
no, they're not. No. I disagree with that. The problem, I go back to the article that Susan Brown, or the quote that she made, or I read that Susan Brown said that right after Harvey, the problem is not the courts. The problem is in DA intake, and she's exactly right. If they're overworked, they need to stop. They need to take half as many people in intake and make the people that are still in intake smarter, not too smart, because they're getting too smart. They're stretching where they can stretch and make probable cause for an arrest. They're not thinking about, well, can I make this? Are they going to be able to make this when it gets to a trial court? And we need to stop arresting people for criminal trespass when it's just a homeless person. We need to have a place where they can be taken. It'd be a lot less money out of the taxpayers' pockets if they can go somewhere other than the Harris County Jail when they're sleeping on the stoop of a building or something like that. And then the driving while license invalid and license suspended. And not every single person who's not white needs to be arrested in Harris County when their license is suspended when they get pulled over.
But this is a problem that's been going on for years. This isn't unique to the Ogg administration. It was going on in the administrations before that. And so,
but can you imagine? Maybe I'm naive, but I believe that if you have somebody come down who for the last decade has been handling only capital murder trials, and they come down to misdemeanor court with the purpose of cleaning house, they're going to go, wait a second. how many? What does y'all call this? DWLI? What is driving while license? Just the I. Oh, invalid. Okay. Sort the docket and show me how many of those we have.
Well, but
every one where they're not connected to another, they don't have two cases. Dismiss every case that's just DWLI. Let DPS deal with their suspended driver's license.
Well, they don't have to arrest them. The option to use the enhancement to make the DWI an arrestable, a DWLI arrestable offense is within their discretion. They can just say Class C. It's Class C. Here's a ticket. Here, we're not going to.
They can tell the officer, sorry, you know what? We're not taking those charges. Just give them a ticket and make sure they don't drive off.
Unless there's something unless there's some sort of extraneous thing that's going to aggravate the case in some way. I mean, wreck or drugs.
I mean, the reality is, at some point, you can't. I understand what you're saying, Justin, but at some point, that is an issue for the legislature to address, not the DAs, because the DAs, their role is to prosecute the laws that are on the books. And
I agree with that.
And at some point, I mean, from a standpoint, and as the elected DA, you can't just say, well, I'm just not going to prosecute driving while license invalid, because I mean, frankly, as a citizen, if I go get my license and I keep my license valid, I don't want a bunch of people driving around and not having to do the same thing I'm doing. I mean, you're going to have a lot of backlash on that, and from a political standpoint, you can't just do that. So the change has to start from the legislature. So I don't begrudge the DA, whoever it is, Democrat, Republican, socialist, libertarian, astronaut. I don't care. If I don't think you can sit there and say we're not going to prosecute DWLIs or we're not going to prosecute trespass. And do it, en masse. I mean, you just, it's not reality.